Hi guys, I wanted to make a couple of videos that kind of sort of lay out narcissistic behavior and what it is they're thinking in more tangible terms. So I want to put these behaviors and thought processes into terms that we're all familiar with, and games are a very popular metaphor because that's pretty much how a narcissist sees their relationships, as a game, as a competition, as a sport, or an activity, something along those lines. That's sort of their mindset, in a way. So what I want to give the example of is if you're in a relationship with a narcissist in your social circle, modeling it with Monopoly. Now, let's say, for instance, the way a Monopoly game typically goes down, you spend all your time on it, you psychologically abuse each other, and then you have a piece of pie, and then you do something else, right? Playing Monopoly with a narcissist, they would be the type, everybody knows the Monopoly player who always has to be the banker, and they want to be in charge of all the money. They're the ones who always want to be the money bag piece, or the car. I'm always the money bag, you know. They like to be the first one to roll. So, all right, so let's roll to see who goes first. Hope it's me. They'll be polite. They're not like rude or mean or anything. It's just part of the game. They just make it look like they're the ones driving the game forward. They'll even make an argument. I mean, I'm usually the banker because I'm good at it, right? But the way that they play Monopoly, everybody has their ways of winning, their ways of cheating. Some of us more than others. Some of us have house rules. Some of us change the rules as we go. And, every little dirty trick you could think of, the narcissist is well versed. I mean, not only do they know the game well, they also know the ins and outs and the dirty plays too. So, I mean, they're going to be the ones always sliding themselves money. They're the ones that when somebody passes go or collects a huge rent, they're going to immediately seize on an opportunity to try to get that money from that person, because that keeps that player broke and weak, right? So, hey, you just came into some money. Would you like to buy a railroad? I'll trade you this, I think I covered, sliding themselves money under the table. But, there's several ways to win Monopoly. One is to actually be a good player, know how to trade well with people, be well liked at the table, and do trades that are mutually beneficial. On the other hand, if you're sitting with a narcissist, they could identify you as being a good player. What they'll do is they'll sit on the bank, they'll protect all their money, they'll slide themselves more money so that they have a nice cushion. They'll watch you build your empire, and then they start to mess with your head. They start to irritate you. They start to piss you off. All the little things they can do. Take little jabs at you and get it to the point where you're either tired or angry, frustrated, and you just want to quit. And lo and behold, in your moment of weakness, they manipulate things. So it's like, oh, well, can I have your stuff? And they'll usually have worked it so that, when somebody quits, they want to give all their stuff away to one person, make it easy. Nobody wants to perpetuate the game longer, right? So when people typically leave, they're usually like, okay, I'll give all my stuff to Frank, So that's it, and of course, if they start losing and if people start calling them out on their tactics, they're usually the one to flip the board. And they'll be mad. They'll be like, you better watch yourself. I'm going to have to flip the board if you keep that up. I mean, no, I don't want to have to flip the board. I don't want to have to make a giant mess. So you need to watch yourself, They make these little threats. And of course, then, they're more than happy to follow through on it. And then they make it your fault that they flipped the board. And he's like, that I flipped the board when you buy houses. I've told you before, if you buy that hotel, I'm going to have to flip the board. I'm going to have to. And I kind of got to buy the hotel to play the game, right? It's like, well, I mean, you could buy that hotel, but, I mean, how are you going to play the game? How are you going to carry on with all the pieces on the floor? So you need to think about that, right? 5 houses? So they sort of box you in with that kind of stuff. And like I said, they know the game. They know how to play Monopoly, and it's one thing to come to the game not knowing how to play. It's another thing coming to the game knowing how to play, but it's an entirely different plane of existence whenever you're an accomplished Monopoly player and you're like, you know what, I can win legitimately, but I actually just want to win by torturing these poor bastards to death, by making them frustrated, by making them quit, by making them turn on each other, So instead of being the active player, active property trader, business person, you just control the money, you just control the board. The narcissist would be the type to put rigged dice on the board and hide it whenever it's not his turn, and have some rigged dice that will roll whatever number they want. Oh, look, looks like I'm landing on go again. Every single so. That's it in a nutshell. So what do you do? Well, I mean, in the case of it, when you're free to get up from the game, I mean, obviously you just don't play the game, but sometimes it's so hard to do that because the narcissist will mess with you. They'll be like, yeah, I mean, if I sucked as bad as you do, I wouldn't want to play me either. I'll be like, yeah, I mean, not all of us can do elementary math. I mean, clearly, clearly the game's just too complicated for you. So yeah, I mean, I totally understand why you want to give up and quit, and never improve yourself. Never, just I would just want to stay dumb too, and not want to try, right? So I mean, they do that type of crap to keep you at the board playing, and then they can carry on their little mind games, sabotaging your property deals with others. They bust up your alliances if you start seeing what's going on. It's like, oh, all right, this banker, he's trying to play us against each other, so let's just team up and let's just do business deals. And so then what they start doing is they start triangulating the other players. Like, you see this, like they can't win on their own. Like, I mean, so they have to team up now because two of them might be as good as like you and me, right? So really, there's no point in 4 players. There's just 2 players. So they feed all of this negativity into it. So I mean, what do you do? Well, I mean, you just look at them and be like, yeah, all right, fuck you. I'm out. I'm not playing with you ever again. And you walk away from the board and you leave. Period. If you're in a situation where you live with one or can't get away from one, what do you do? You do the gray rock technique, and the equivalent of that would just be you just sit there and do nothing. Roll the dice. No. It's your turn. No. Okay. Well, aren't you going to roll the dice? Somebody else, why don't you do it? I'm not going to play. I'm not a Monopoly player. You want me to sit at the table? Fine. I'm not a Monopoly player. So, you want the dice rolled? You want my little piece moved? I mean, good luck. I won't stop you. All right, so I mean, you just become somebody who sits at the board, and that's what pisses the narcissist off so much, is because that's a wasted space. That is a wasted player. That is wasted opportunity for somebody to mess with. So when you're a gray rock and you're there at the board, not playing, you're not even rolling the dice, you say, no, I mean, guys, I'm only here because clearly you want me here, but I'm not a player. I'm not a player. I don't know. I don't understand why you want me at the board. I don't play Monopoly. I'm not going to add anything at all to the game. I'm just sitting here. And that leads to narcissistic discard. Often leads to, if you're in a relationship, that's when the affair starts. They monkey branch. They never just, do the respectable thing and leave. No, they're going to be the kind where, Narcissists are the type of people that slam the door as loud as they can to make sure everybody in the structure knows that they're angry, right? So that's how they leave relationships too. I mean, they want to slam the door as hard as they can, and that's almost always an affair. And you can tell you're getting close to the affair stage when you start hearing them saying things like, "You're so useless," and they start getting frustrated and calling you useless and pointing out that you have little value to them, and that's perfect. That is precisely where you want to be, because you know what's coming next, and that's your route to freedom. I've said it before, they're like a gypsy curse, you know? Yeah, the only way to get rid of them is to give them to someone else. So, yeah, gray rock technique if you can't get away, because that's what pisses them off, and they're going to go through what's called narcissistic discard, which is, all right, you know, you're clearly just, yes, I'm keeping you here at the table, but you're not adding to the game. They're gonna try to get you to play the game, but then like, shit, man, I mean, it's a lot of energy just to get this person to play, and they're refusing. I'm not gonna expend all that energy. I'm just gonna put somebody else in that seat that I want to mess with. And so at that point, they just discard you. They're like, get away, get out of my life. You know, I don't ever want to see you again. You know, you're absolutely worthless. I've never met anybody as worthless as you. Don't call me, don't text, blah, blah, blah. And you know, they just completely amputate you, right? And for somebody that doesn't know that, understand that, and expect that, I mean, it can be very, very hurtful. On the other hand, now that you know you're with a narcissist, I assume that because you're watching this video, that's exactly where you want to be. Because try dumping a narcissist. It's not going to happen. When you try to dump a narcissist, that's how you end up with these stalkers. End up with crazy people, the crazy exes. They don't leave you alone because you did not exit on their terms. You exited on your own terms. So the best way to get out with a narc, like I said before, gray rock. Make your just the fact that you're there and neither giving nor taking. You're just sitting there, literally, and because they tried to manipulate you into it. But then everything that they were wanting you there for, they have to do themselves. Like, I mean, if they keep you around, if you're a roommate, and your roommate keeps you around because you're a chef and because you cook well, and so they're always, you know, telling you things about your cooking and all that stuff. So trying to get you to always cook so they don't have to, right? And eventually you figure out the game, and you're like, and they're like, so what's for dinner? Whatever you want to make yourself. I don't know, make a sandwich. Like, I mean, I just, you know, you're such a good cook all the time, you know. It makes you happy. I want to make you happy, you know. Let's cook something. Then, you know, they'll be like, let's cook something. Like if they like your cooking and they want you to cook, and they're like, you know, I love cooking with you. I always feel like I learned something, and you know, I'm starting to understand how cooking makes you happy. And they sit there and they tell you all this good stuff about, you know, your cooking. And I mean, of course, yeah, you're happy, you're cooking, you're doing what you love to do. And they're sitting there focusing on you doing the things you love to do. And they're just, you know, piggybacked on you to get the free meal when they're done. Right? Because you don't mind sharing. After all, why cook for only yourself? So, I mean, if you were to just like, you know, I don't have time to cook, or just like, you know, I'm a chef, I cook all day. I already cooked my own dinner at work. So, yeah, I mean, there's food in the fridge. Your arm's not broken. Go make you something to eat. Asshole. I mean, you do that enough, you're a chef, you just eat at the restaurant before you come home. Suddenly, you were that roommate, they had you in their life for free food, free cooking, and you've taken that away. Now you're just dead weight. You're used space, and you serve no more purpose to them. And so much for friendship, it was never about friendship, it was just about the food. And now that's gone. So they're going to replace you with somebody else who cooks. And they're going to be like, get the fuck out of my house. And be like, bye. So anyways, I'm out of time. So please like, comment, or share, and we'll see you on another video.